Hello, welcome back, and glad you are here with me today because we're gonna make a list of the shortest wars in European history. A very informative ASMR history video, and we're gonna discover the main reasons beyond these short conflicts. So be prepared to relax, and I hope at the end you will feel more tingly. First, let's start with the War of Stray Dog. War of Stray Dog between Greece and Bulgaria. So I will write it here. War of Stray Dog. In 1925. Its duration 10 days. A Greek soldier chased his dog into Bulgaria, shot, and Greece retaliated. Well, League of Nations stopped it, and Greece paid compensation. And yes, this war started because of a dog. Innocent dog. Good as red eye. Good. Next, Liechtenstein. In the Austro-Prussian War in 1866. 1866. Liechtenstein in the Austro-Prussian War. Prussian War. The length of the conflict, a few weeks. Well, Liechtenstein sent 80 soldiers, but the strange fact is that returned 81. It was no combat. Well, the outcome is that they made a friend on the way home, and that one became a Liechtenstein citizen later. Liechtenstein in Austro-Prussian War, 1866. Next, Roman Republic. Roman Republic versus France. In 1849. Length 4 weeks. Rome was declared a republic, but France invaded Italy to restore the Pope. It was a short war but fierce fighting, and the republic quickly collapsed. It was the war where the famous Garibaldi rised and was one of the key defenders of Republic of Rome. So, Roman Republic versus France, 4 weeks. And now something unusual. conflict, and a very weird one, was between Montenegro and you're not gonna guess which country. This tiny country, micro country in Europe, had a war with Japan. So, Montenegro versus Japan. Well, it was one of the longest, not the shortest, but I include it here in the list because it is very odd and peculiar. It lasted from 1904 until 2006. 2006. No shots fired. The war was just on paper. Montenegro versus Japan. Because they forgot to sign a treaty, a peace treaty, until 2006. Next war is another microstate which somehow invaded Nazi Germany. Well, not quite like that. Yes, San Marino was in war with Nazi Germany in 1944. But why? Because the British troops mistakenly invaded the neutral microstate of San Marino, thinking that it's part of Nazi Germany. Well, after the brief occupation, San Marino returned to neutrality. Well, the war, the so-called war, lasted only 3 days. 3 days. So, right? You may heard in the history, and I made as well a video about the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Well, that was in the Middle Ages, but how about the Polish-Lithuanian War, which is a conflict more recently? Yes, between 1920 there was a Polish-Lithuanian War. A conflict that lasted only 1 week. 1 week of active fighting. Well, it was a conflict over Vilnius region. The ceasefire was arranged by League of Nations. Now let's travel to Iberian Peninsula in an area called Pados. Somewhere like in this area. The Battle of Pados, Spanish Civil War, 1936. The length of the conflict only 2 days. 2 days. Intense urban battle, 1,000 killed or captured quickly. It was only a conflict, only a single battle, but notable for brutality, despite its short length. Pados. Next we're gonna talk about Portugal coup d'etat. Coup d'etat, 1926. Coup d'etat. 1926, Portugal. start of the conflict, 2 days, a bloodless military coup ended Portugal's unstable First Republic. The outcome is that this coup d'etat led to 48 years of authoritarian rule, dictatorship in Portugal. So let's good. The next conflict is in Slovenia, or was in Slovenia, in 1991. Slovenia's 10-day war. This is exactly how was entitled, Slovenia's 10-day war. Yes, it lasted obviously 10 days, because Slovenia declared independence from neighboring Yugoslavia. Before that, Slovenia was part of Yugoslavia, and the Yugoslav army withdrew after minimal fighting and a peace agreement, but the withdrawing of the Yugoslav forces lasted 10 days. Next, Hungarian Revolution. Hungarian Revolution. And Soviet suppression, 1956. 1956. Well, in 1956, the Soviet invasion in Hungary lasted 7 days. The revolt crushed quickly by the Red Army, and a deeply emotional but short-lived uprising, one of the shortest in European history. Hungarian Revolution, 1956. Goes, madam. Talk with this dog. Another microstate next involved in a war with Germany, this time Andorra, in the World War I era. Yes, Andorra was in a direct conflict with Germany in World War I. Andorra declared war in 1914 and the conflict ended in 1958. Well, why it's in the list of the shortest one? Because there was no combat. No combat. Technically, Andorra declared war in 1914 and remained at war for 44 years due to the paperwork, oversight, and some lost papers. Yes, that's why. The main reason. No army, no shots, just some lost paper during the transit between Andorra and Germany. So, where's the backup? Good, sorry. Good. Just my gosh down. Just my gosh down. The next conflict is the first Schleswig War and the ceasefire phase, 1800 Schleswig. Schleswig in 1849. Duration 7 weeks, during a broad conflict between Denmark and Germany. Involved Denmark and Germany confederations, and peace negotiations rapidly reset the fighting. A war was paused, then resumed, then paused again. All that in 7 weeks. And now, let's talk about a conflict or a war that lasted only a few hours. In Ireland, Irish Civil War. Irish Civil War. Final battle, 1923. It was last major conflict and lasted only 4 hours. The ceasefire was announced by radio. Republicans declared the fight could not longer continue militarily, and a peace agreement was signed. Next, Serbia Serbo-Bulgarian War, 1885. Well, it lasted 14 days only. Facts: Serbia attacked Bulgaria after the latter's unification with Eastern Rumelia. Resolutions: Austro-Hungarian Empire intervened diplomatically. Ceasefire followed by recognition of Bulgaria unification. A brief, decisive clash of Balkans' ambitions. Serbo-Bulgarian War. Next, Armenian War in 1918. Well, the conflict lasted 24 days. Heavy border dispute between two countries over Lori, Yavarketi, and Borkalo after the Ottoman withdrew from the area. The resolution was a ceasefire, followed by joint control and later arbitration. This was a short, tragic brush of shifting post-World War I borders between nations. Georgian-Armenian War, 24 days. Good. Next, Greco-Turkish War, 1897. A 30 days war, known as the 30 Days War. Facts: Greece invaded Ottoman-ruled Crete in support of Christian uprising. The resolutions was Ottoman victory and international powers imposed peace. It was a swift but intense struggle over cultural identity. the Second Balkan War in 1913. So Second War, Balkan War, 1913. 32 days. Bulgaria turned on its former allied, Serbia and Greece over Macedonian spoils. The resolution was Bulgaria's defeat and the Treaty of Bucharest signed. Balkan alliances unraveled in just over a month. So, next is from the recent past, the Russo Georgian War, 2008. It lasted between 5 and 12 days. Russia intervened militarily in South Ossetia following Georgian incursion. The resolution was a ceasefire brokered. Russia recognized Abkhazia and South Ossetia, a rapid flashpoint in the post-Soviet geopolitics. Russo Georgian War. Good. Well, now we complete the spectrum, and these were some of the most shortest in length conflicts in European history, but some of them were quite bizarre, right? From actual skirmishes to legendary only paper wars. I hope you enjoyed this ASMR history session, and of course, please let me know your opinion in the comment section below. And until next time, as always, I wish you all the best. Bye bye.